Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lunch and Life with Sharon and
Robin Joy.
How you doing today, Robin?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I am doing great. It is summer officially.
I know. And I have to be honest, I have to keep looking at the calendar because I thought summer started like weeks ago. So every time it's like, oh, it's summer starting. I was like, okay.
I know we keep saying this, right? The time keeps flying by. At least now, though, we have the ability to go out and celebrate. And today we want to talk about the summer, the upcoming whole season, and taking care of yourself and what you could do. And we have so much that we want to fill into this episode. So I'm going to pass the baton to my co-host and let her get started.
Why, thank you. That's our code word for your turn. Thanks, Sharon. Well, we thought we would really kind of talk about, the whole balance aspect, right? So it's a great time of year. And obviously this time of year, this year is different than probably in previous years. But how do we enjoy summer as we're all trying to reemerge into this world and balance? Because we want to balance kind of getting working and getting back into work for those that are getting back in. But enjoying and spending family time, even though we might have been cooped up with our family a little bit. And also finding time for ourselves because it has been stressful. So I think this year more than ever, it's really that fine line of being healthy for ourselves. So we were talking about, Sharon and I were kind of bouncing off, kind of coaching, and we were coaching ourselves actually, because, it's one of those things that, as we know, the seasons go so fast and this year has gone by so fast that if you're feeling stuck and you're not making moves forward and it keeps coming back to you, like, I wanted to do this thing and I haven't had a chance, this is a perfect time of year to say, okay, I'm going to carve out some time. No matter how busy you are, it has to go into your calendar. I mean, I want to start it there. Like, if there's something you want to try and do, schedule it into your calendar.
Yeah. So interesting because, as you were saying, like you and I were talking about this whole coaching and this idea of scheduling things into our calendar. We've both seen it with our clients, how they schedule everything for everybody else
right
into the calendar and not for themselves because that's being selfish. And you and I point that out on a regular basis. And so the idea of creating a goal, and again, going back to picking one thing, which we're going to talk about today, is doing it with compassion and realizing that there's so many aspects to look at. And we always like to, not always, but, we can even start with the wellness wheel that we talked about a few episodes ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we have you can look that up in the description and, watch that other episode because it's so easy to have ADD and just, have the next shiny fruit object that you just kind of like want to pick. But focusing on one thing that's going to take you closer to what your vision is, what the goal is, what you want your life to look like. As Robin was saying, this is the time to really sit and reflect on what's next.
Right. And I think the key word really is also momentum, right? So what is that one thing and how to keep the momentum going? With my clients, it's kind of like, we were talking about, like, it's client guided coaching in a way, right? So what is that? I can help you, but I need you to tell me what that goal and that vision is. And then, so what's the big vision? And then let's back it down into baby steps to get there, because otherwise it's just too overwhelming. And if you're like me, a little ADD at times, I kind of retreat. I go into retreat mode, and my introvertedness, if that's a word, kicks in. And then I don't get things done because it just is too overwhelming. So go for the big picture, back it into baby steps and say, picking something off of the wellness wheel, how do I take significant goals to get there with compassion, with forgiveness, that if you don't make that next big leap, it's okay, but are you making a step to get there? That's the key, right? And then realizing tomorrow's another day. If something got in your way, it's okay. And I think that's where people get stuck. And I think that's where sort of the terms of fear and all that stuff kicks in, and it creates this almost stigma and this like big stop in front of you where people are like, I can't do it. And that's where, the whole, what I love about brain science and all of that is it's baby steps and it's repetition. So for example, journaling, I never used to journal. It's not an easy thing if it's not a habit. So you have to just go into small steps and repetition. And even if you sit with a journal and you're like, I don't know what to write today, I hope I have a good day, I got up this morning, that's okay. You wrote something. It becomes easier and easier.
Such a great point. And thinking about goals, it's also important to think about, what are your values? What's really important to you? Not what others expect of you, but what's important to you? Is it joy, peace, balance, fun, family, being respected, being a leader? It's different for everybody, but choose 3 or 4 really important values for yourself, because when you can do that and also look at what your innate strengths are, because we all have them, then you can use the 2 to help you to always reassess the goal. And is it, does it align with my values? Am I using my strengths? Have I reached an obstacle? And if I've reached an obstacle, but it feels familiar, how can I use those strengths that have gotten me through obstacles in the past to get me through this? So, I recommend taking a pen and paper and writing this down now, or like write down these questions, right? Ask yourself these questions, because this will then take you closer and closer, as Rob was saying, of picking that one goal and taking that one step and always reassessing. And with the big vision of, what do I want my life to look like? Who would I be with? What would I be doing? What does it feel like? And now's the time to really allow yourself and honor yourself to create that space to start working on that as we emerge from COVID.
And I think, you bring up a really good point, Sharon. I think when you do that, I think the more you get to know yourself and you do that, and I call them like non-negotiables, to be quite honest, right? Your golden rule, whatever I call them, the non-negotiables, you can define it any way you want. Then you can dig into those individual aspects of like the wellness wheel, right? Your environment, your work, everything else. But then you know who you are and you're clear on who you are. And that doesn't shift in any other aspect of your life, because you know what you want. It doesn't have to be what everyone else wants of you or for you. It's what you want. And so you're clear on that. And that's personal life and that's professional life. And that's your life, right? You one life there. So that's always that choice, right? We talk about always the 3 C's: choice, to make your choice. You have a choice to take a chance to make a change. Always, always, always. And you get to define that.
Yeah. You said something interesting, like with the strengths and looking at everything. I don't know if you've noticed this with your clients, but I find sometimes that mine, when we do this wellness wheel, they look at what their weaknesses are. They go to their short-sightedness and they think, oh, I have to start here where it's really weak. But it's actually, no, start with what's strong, build on your strengths, because then you can use your strengths to pull up everything else. And that's like such a different point of view and a different perspective that we get stuck in, as a society, of always, right, looking at what's bad, what's missing, what all the negative, as opposed to focusing on the positive. There's so much positive there. And,
point.
Yeah, it's such a different way of shifting the lens, of shifting that perspective. And I always say, like, take that bird's eye view, take a step back. Yeah. And when you can look at it from an aerial view, then you see so much clearly, or so much clearer, or what, having trouble talking today.
It's okay.
That can then again also help you to as Robin was also mentioning, pick one area of whatever part of the wellness wheel you want to start with. And I just want to, circle back to you, Robin, with the having a choice to take a chance to make a change, which I love your 3 C's, is having our audience really look at that, right? So going back over, what your values are, your strengths, the goals, your vision, asking yourself all these questions, writing it down, listen to this again, and then, take Robin's advice of your choice, your 3 C's.
Yeah. And listen, sometimes it's hard to do it by yourself, right? Because you have a lot of outside noise and you have a lot going on. You just have a lot going on. So suggestion is this, reach out and find your support system. Find those people that help support and lift you up. If you need a coach, there's plenty of us out there, like Sharon and I. Or ask us for help. Put in your questions in the comments. We're happy to give you suggestions along the way. If you don't want a coach, if you're still uncomfortable and something's bothering you, very often there's root causes. As you know, I'll talk about neuroplasticity and things back to your childhood. You need to uncover that in order to figure out where those blocks have started from. And really, it goes way back. And so it needs to kind of be cleared out. But taking the time, it has to start with you taking the time for you. So if it's a morning routine, if it's at 5 minutes, whatever it is, summertime to circle back into why this time is so important. This is a great time to do it, especially as we're reemerging, especially as we're trying to balance the new work life, family life again. And we're still in I won't say the thick of it, but we're still in this balance of a lot of the unknown. I don't know. You listen to the news day one, it's a lot. Sometimes it's not, but whatever, it's just being kind and gentle with yourselves, and you will get things done. It's just taking the time for you, by your definition, by your parameters. Just take time for you.
Perfect way to end this segment of
Summertime.
The 3 C's.
Choice, chance, and change.
Yes. So that was fantastic. I love unpacking lunch with you as always, Robin, and everyone. Subscribe, like, share this. Please ask your questions in the comments below. Listen to this again and write down those questions. Go back to our episode, which we talked about, and we actually have the wellness wheel for you. Happy summer, everybody. We hope you have a great day.
Happy summer.